cord. Okay, so hands and knees and circle your hips around. They can be big, they can be small, they can be a mixture. Do whatever comes naturally, nicely in your body. Let your Pilates practice be a joy. So move your lower back, trying to bring in a little joy to your lower back, then change direction. It's nice to feel challenged, but more than anything, you want to come out feeling good. So this is about trying to get any goodness out of your body this evening. Okay, a couple more this way. And then lower onto your forearms. Straighten your right leg out behind with your toes tucked on the floor and slide your weight backwards and forwards so you stretch into the calf. Toes are touching the floor, Isabel. Toes on the floor, that's it. So when you go back, you get a calf stretch. That's it, yeah. Your heel presses back and forwards, stretching into your lower leg, the back of your lower leg, your calf. Good, and then you can switch the leg over, back and forwards. And we get much more out of what we're doing in Pilates and actually what we're doing in anything in life if we engage with it. So because Pilates is about feeling, feel each movement, feel each strength, bits of strength work, feel all the stretches, feel your body opening up. Bring that knee back down to the floor and then lower down onto your forearms so your hips are down and you're on your forearms. So we're in a little Sphinx position. If it's too high for you, take your elbows a bit further out in front and just look forwards or slightly ahead of your mat, pressing down through your forearms and see if you can get your spine to feel longer, your shoulders to press back a little, and your neck to lengthen. When you lengthen your neck, have you shortened the back of the neck, which would look like that? Or have you just lengthened the back of the neck and it would look more like that? See if you can find the middle where both the front and the back lines of your neck feel long. And your chin draws towards your throat slightly. Chin in more, Karen. Chin towards your... look at me. Rather than down there, chin back more, I should say. That's it. And then now chin down. That's it. And drawing back. That's it. Face away from the hands. Okay, lower all the way down. Rest your head on your both hands. Bend your legs and take your knees wide. Bend your legs, take your knees wide. And sway your feet side to side. So your lower legs are swaying like windscreen wipers. So Ali, bend your legs. Oh, you've got cramp, fine. And again, do it so it feels nice for you. They go one way, they go the other way. Have you got fancy windscreen wipers, Kevin, that cross over each other? Have you? Okay, and then when you come back to center, bring your knees in together, keep your right leg bent, straighten your left leg. And reach your right arm down. See if you can catch hold of your right foot. Yeah, and if you can't, then I'll see you can't, and I'll come and put a band around your foot. So if you struggle to get a hold of it, you can have a band around your leg. It looks like everyone's got it. Keep your head resting on your left hand. And press the front of your right hip into the ground a bit more, so you get a stretch in the front of your thigh. Are you happy holding your trouser leg, Christine? Yeah. Refine it a little more. So if you're not getting much stretch, then bring the thigh bone in a bit more toward the center of your mat. Are you happy holding the trouser leg, Liz? Yep. Yeah, so your thigh bone comes in a bit more. Press the front of your thigh down to the mat a bit more and stretch your knee longer so the knee gets lighter. Then try hugging your belly in a little so the belly kind of scoops towards your spine. One more breath with that, feeling, connecting with your mind to what you're doing, and then release that side and go for the other leg. And again, if you can't get a hold of it, just keep your leg bent and I'll see you can't hold it and I'll bring a band round if you need one. Are you all right, Sue? Yeah, okay. Liz, do you want one on this side? You sure? You don't want this round? Yeah, no, you've got it, you've got it. Okay. That feel all right, Christine? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Teresa, you happy like that? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so having been there for a few breaths now, see if you need to refine it. If you struggle, then you can keep it as you are. Otherwise, you're pressing the front of your hip toward the mat more, stretching the knee longer, and then just feeling your tummy pulling in towards your spine slightly. There you go. And then release that side. Both legs straight. Give your bottom a little rock, side to side. Let's do a few pelvic floor exercises while we're lying on our tummy. So let your bottom rock to center and become still. And keep your head resting on your hands. Shoulders relaxed. Inhale. When you exhale, see if you can squeeze up your pelvic floor. So you're trying to draw up the space that connects with the crotch of your trousers. Inhale, relax it. And exhale again, pulling up as if you're trying to pull away from the crotch of your trousers or the crotch of your knickers. And then inhaling, relaxing it. Do that for a few more breaths. See if you can do it without me seeing your pelvis change position much. So there might be a tiny movement in your pelvis, but it's not too much. So we're avoiding squeezing the bottom cheeks and going further into the pelvic floor. Okay, keep doing that. With your exhale, pelvic floor engages. Then feel like you're wearing a corset and the corset narrows around your waist. So we're going pelvic floor like an elevator, pulling up inside you. And then it connects with the corset that narrows in. Do that a few more breaths. Inhaling, exhaling, pelvic floor, corset muscles wrapping in. You should feel when you engage, your tummy muscles pull in lighter away from the ground and your lower back feels nice and long. Place your hands by the sides of your rib cage. Push back up onto your hands and knees. Bring your knees directly under your hips. Hands directly over your wrists. Okay, and keeping a flat back, head, chest, and hips in line with each other. Then engage your pelvic floor and your core muscles so it feels like narrowing around your waist again. Straighten your right leg with the toes touching the floor. And then straighten your left arm with the little finger touching the floor. And then let's lift and lower 5 times on this side. Up and touch down. 4, touch down. 3, 2, 1. And then hand and knee come back to place. Left leg out straight, toes touching the floor. Right arm, little finger touching the floor. And again, lift 5, touch down. 4, try and keep the corset you're wearing on. So if it had a scale of 1 to 10, you're holding it about 5 to 8. Between 5 and 8. Last one. Good. Then your hand and knee come back down to the floor. Okay, let's sit into a child's pose. Move your bottom as close to your heels as you're able to. You could always, if you struggle with that, wedge your block between your bottom and your heels so that you don't have to sit as low. And then take a downward facing dog. So you tuck your toes under, straighten out your knees, and look through the gap of your legs. Now we're going to lift and lower both heels as you inhale, both heels high, and as you exhale, both heels low. Inhale, heels high, exhale, heels low. Take your hands a bit wider. And try and press your chest back further. That's it. Now do the heels up and down. So you're trying to get this line straight. One more time, heels high, heels low, walk your hands towards your feet. Bend your knees a little. Slide your hands up just above your knees. Straighten your arms and look forwards. Your knees are bent and your hands are just above your knees. So you're in a semi-squat. Good. Push your bottom back, look forwards with your chest. Tuck your bottom and tuck your chest. Push your bottom back, look forwards with your chest. And then round the spine. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, round the spine. 3 more. Keep your arms straight, pressing into your knees so that they help to keep this alignment in the lower body. And they help to give you that pressure to straighten your spine, round your spine out. Last time. Round the spine and then slide your hands the rest of the way up to standing and go to a shoulder roll, rolling back and down. Okay, and then bring your fingers to your shoulders and let's go for a backward circle, one arm first, other arm to follow. See if you can keep your head still, but rotate your chest. Head still, rotate your chest. And then we carry on going backwards, but with a straight arm. And you might just slow it down a little. And again, see if you can keep your gaze straight forwards at something. So you get to rotate the rest of your body, but keep your head still. And it should feel just like it would if you were doing backstroke, except you're not having to pull down through the water. If we were doing a really good backstroke, our downward arm would bend a little, but we want to keep that downward arm straight. Okay, and then come back to center and then go hands on shoulders again and do a forward circle with your arms. One elbow at a time. And again, see if you can keep your head still, look at a point in front of you and rotate the chest as you circle your arms. What this does is, because we are stabilizing the head and rotating the chest, it loosens off the cervical vertebra in your neck and works more into the thoracic vertebra of the ribs and chest. Okay, then we can go to a straight arm, forwards action. And again, it's a bit like front crawl, except if we were really doing front crawl, we would have a bent arm pulling through the water, so just keep a straight arm. This is just air swimming rather than water swimming, slight different technique, and we don't go anywhere. One more each arm. Good. And then let's close our eyes a moment and feel your feet on the floor. See if you can roll in on your feet, so you're more on the inner edge of the foot, big toe, inner heel, and then roll out on your feet so you're on the outer blade of your foot. And then consciously try and find the center where you've got an evenness on the inner and outer edges, and there's more focus on the center. Obviously, the center of your foot, the arch will be lifted. And then see if you can feel this lift traveling up through your body. So your legs start to engage. Little squeeze of the pelvic floor into your core, corset muscles on. And when I say your pelvic floor, it's very light when you're standing. So it's just this tiny squeeze up, back passage, sex organs, lower belly, engaging and lifting. Okay, and then put one hand on your belly. You can open your eyes now. One hand on your lower belly and the back of your other hand on the back of your pelvis. And feel like that front and back point are trying to narrow towards each other. So your lower back gets longer, your belly draws in more. Lift the right heel off the floor. Good, and pause a second and get nice and tall to the top of your head, keeping your hips square. Feel your tummy muscles are involved even now, just standing with the heel off the ground. Then see if you can lift your knee so your foot's off the floor. Keep using your hands, pressing into the pelvis to remind you that you're narrowing front to back. Notice if you tend to roll in on the left foot or out on the left foot and see if you can keep on the center. Your right foot comes to the floor. Change your hand position to the outside of your pelvis. Okay, now press lightly with your hands, just really lightly, and feel now like you're trying to narrow in the outer pelvis, and that will engage your lower belly muscles even more. Lift the left heel, pause. Good, so now we've got the hands here and an imaginary hand on front to back. So the whole pelvic girdle feels like it narrows slightly. You can stay like that, stay tall to the top of your head, or you can float your knee. And again, initially you might feel that that right foot starts to waver a little, roll in, roll out. Be aware of it. Feel the contact of your foot on the floor and do your best to keep on center. It's fine. Little rolls are fine. It stabilizes all those fine, smaller muscles, supporting the small bones. Excellent. And then that foot comes down to the floor. Isabel, good? Yeah. Release your arms down. So if your lower back is sensitive or if you've got osteoporosis in your spine, you're going to go down with your hands on your legs as you roll down. Otherwise, arms can hang free. Start with your head going, round your spine, and continue to roll your way down. Hands are on the legs if you need that support. When you get to the bottom of the roll down, let's have a few yes nods with your head. Come down onto hands and knees. Take that slow yes nod into cat arches. So your head nods up, yes. Your bottom lift. Your head nods down, yes. Your bottom tucks. So head and bottom nod up. Head and bottom tuck down. Keep your fingers spread. Keep your arms straight. Unless you're on fists, that's fine. You stay straight arms still. And push the ground away to really get the back of your spine to arch, so that we bring space into the vertebrae across the back and undo stickiness between the shoulder blades. Okay, and then come to a flat back. We're going to do a little shoulder flossing. So this works by keeping your arms straight. Look at the floor just in front of your hands, but then sink your chest. So your chest sinks between your arms, but they remain straight. So your face and your chest will have moved closer to the floor. Now push the ground with your hands, so your chest and your face push further away from the ground, but you're not rounding or dipping your back. So you keep your arms straight, sink your chest toward the ground, your shoulder blades narrow, push the ground away, your shoulder blades widen. Sink your chest to the ground, push your chest away from the ground. Good, do that a few more times. And it's called flossing because you can imagine this feeling you've got of your shoulder blades across the back of your chest. You're flossing the action of the debris that collects and fuses between the shoulder blade and the back of your ribs. So it's shoulder blade flossing. Do a couple more. Chest as close to the floor as you can so that the back of the shoulder blades almost come towards meeting. And then you push the chest away. One more time. Good, everyone. You did that really nicely. Okay, and then come down onto your forearms. Straighten out the legs behind you in your Sphinx position again. Push the ground away, lengthen through your spine. And again, see if you can get that nice even line in your neck. So you're neither creasing the back of the neck or dropping the front of the head. And when you get that nice even line in your neck, get longer through the neck and draw your chin in a little more, like the chin's extension shortens slightly. Nice. Lower all the way down, and this time slide your arms out in front of you. Have your arms a bit wider than your shoulders, so maybe about as wide as your mat. Engage your pelvic floor and the corsor muscles. Lift opposite arm and opposite leg off the ground, and then lower them back down with an inhale. Then the other arm and leg lift. Lower them down, inhale. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. But if you've neck issues, leave your forehead on the floor. If you're a beginner and you're just getting used to the rhythm, you can leave your forehead on the floor. Otherwise, your forehead can lift as you lift and your forehead lowers as you lower. But try not to create any extra creases in your neck, like in the Sphinx. Land lightly to the ground as you change from one side to the other. And notice if your eyes were open, when you lift, are you looking slightly out to the side? Keep your nose and your gaze central, so there's no rotation, just an up and a down. One more each side. Doesn't matter how high you lift. When you've done that, hands by the sides of the rib cage, push back to hands and knees. Go back to your hip circles, the things that we started with. And change direction, 5 the other way. Let's start off with the thinner of the two blocks you've got. So the medium-sized block, pop that underneath your head. Let's face the big window and we'll do our friendly chalk circles facing the big window on your right ear. Bend your knees up in front of your hips. So when you're in your chalk circles, bring your shins forward so your toes are off the long edge of your mat. Good. And then begin when you're ready, circling round. As you go into your chalk circles at home, if you've got a cushion under your head, that'll help. Turn your chest, roll your head on your block or your cushion so that you can get a nice full circle. And imagine you've got a little bit of Velcro on your inner knees, keeping your knees together. And then again, move so that it creates some inner freedom. And when our body feels freer, we've got less tension. And when we've got less tension, we are more likely to experience joy. So we can call these joy circles tonight. Do a couple more circles of joy, feeling that your breath has more space to breathe. Finish this last circle off. Good. And then do one round the other way, just an anti-rotation. And when you come down off that last one the other way, you're going to go down in front of your shin and see if again you can catch hold of your ankle like you did earlier. Once you've got a hold of your foot, use the band if you can't get the foot. Press the thigh bone back. Think of when you were doing this lying on your tummy. There was no choice for your thigh bone to come forwards when you were lying on your tummy. So when you're on your side now, notice if your thigh bone comes forwards and push it back like it would be if you were lying on your tummy. So thigh bone pressing back in line with your torso. Let your shoulder roll back a little. That's as far back as you can go. Yeah. Yeah. Were you taking a little shortcut there? Not like you, Karen. Release that side. Pick your block up. Take your block to the other end of your mat and stay facing the big window. Onto your left ear, left hip. Good. When your knees come up in front of the hips, if the feet stay too far in, then you want to push the feet out, toes off the front edge of your mat, and then begin your circle round when you're ready. Paint or a bruise? I'll say that's a whopper. Yeah. They can be slow, steady, thoughtful, or they can be a little quicker and see how it feels and just go with whichever one feels nicer to you. Which one fulfills your shoulders' needs this evening more? And again, just think about that imaginary Velcro in the inner knees. So it helps to keep your knees together. Okay, they might lift a little, they might slide slightly, but you're minimizing how much that happens. One more in this direction. And then when you've finished that one in that direction, you can go the other way, one the other way, starting downwards over the knees and round. And then when your hand comes in front of your shin, catch hold of your ankle, stretch the leg back. Do you want me to put the band around? So you can get it that way. You're right on this side? Yep. Thigh bone pressing back. And again, the best you can, like you did when you were lying on your tummy. When you were on your tummy, the leg couldn't be in front. So now that you're on your side, you know that you can press that thigh bone back enough so it's in line with your body. So I think you have to hold on to your trouser leg again, and then your thigh bone can press back further. Yeah. That's it. Does that hurt your knee holding onto the trouser leg? No, okay. So keep hold of the trouser and then send the thigh bone back. You don't need to bend the knee anymore. Push out from the hip. Okay, good. When you release that foot, I'm going to turn onto your back and take the block out from under your head for a moment. So we're ready for shoulder bridges. But keep the block handy and keep your band within reaching distance. Position your feet so that the heels feel underneath the back of your knees. Arms long, slight tuck of your chin to begin. Close your eyes for a couple of breaths and just start to feel you're pressing into your feet and taking a bit of the load out of the back of your pelvis. So press a bit more firmly into your feet. Feel the back of your pelvis get a little bit lighter. Then pick up the tailbone end first. Then start to roll your spine up into bridge. Inhale at the top of the bridge, pressing through the back of your arms. Roll your spine back down, keeping the pressure in the back of your arms. And before you fully land, keep the pressure through your feet and just feel the sacrum on the floor, but lightly on the floor. And then roll your way back up again. So it's like when you come back down to the mat with your sacrum, the sacrum is the back of your pelvis, just in case you're unsure. So when you roll the sacrum back down to the floor, it's like it's landing without making a dent in your mat. So you're always keeping the standing pressure through your feet. And that's not how you always do shoulder bridges. It's just how we're doing them this evening. Keep the press through your arms, even when you roll down. Got 2 or 3 more. While you're rolling, roll slow enough that you can pay attention to your feet. Are you tending to roll inwards on your feet or outwards on your feet? And just notice and see if you can keep an eye on staying on the center of the feet. Center of the heel, center of the ball of the foot. Your toes might, unless your toes cross or anything like that, your toes are lightly in contact with the ground. When you get to the floor, pause there. All the way down, and then let your sacrum completely rest on the floor. Take your block back under your head and take your stretchy band around the right foot, straightening your right leg up in the air. Right leg straight up, band around the ball of your foot. You've got 2 block shapes you can choose from. So if the one that you were using earlier isn't big enough, you can switch to the thicker one for the hamstring stretch. Okay, then get heavier into the back of your right hip. I can give you a little press. And try and push the right hip crease down away toward the far end of your mat. You can press slightly into my hands as if you're trying to push me away. And push your hip down and press me at the same time. Are you pressing me? Press me a bit more, as if you're trying to push me away with the back of your leg. Push me more. Are you pushing me? You're not pushing me. Take the band off. Push me away with your leg, like you're trying to make me fall over that way. That's it, yeah. 5. Keep pressing. 4. 3. 2. 1. Relax. Sit and I can give it a little push in. Okay, then take the band around your left foot. You don't need it, Christine. I'll do the same on you. And straighten your left leg in the air. We'll just start with the stretch lightly. So hip heavy on the ground. Equal both sides of the waist. Don't press me yet. And let the thigh bone sink down into the hip joint. Okay, so now press. Push as hard as you can. 5. Does it feel all right in your knee? 4. 3. 2. 1. Relax the press. And then release your left foot down to the floor. And then find neutral pelvis. Keep the block under your head. Neutral pelvis, where you're neither dropping to the tailbone or squashing your belly button flat. Find that midline. Engage your pelvic floor muscles and then the corset muscles. Make your right foot a little bit lighter. And so notice what your pelvis feels like on the floor. As your right foot starts to lift, try not to let your pelvis move at all. Yeah, keep your right leg in a single knee fold. Hold it for a few breaths, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. You want to feel like the two front bony points of your hips very slightly roll towards your waistline. So the two bony front points of your pelvis, sometimes we call them hip bones, but they want to feel like they roll towards your waistline rather than away from your waistline. Okay, now put the ball of your right foot onto the floor, keeping your knee bent, the ball of your right foot touching the floor without any weight in it. So it's touching the ground like it's touching rice paper. And feel how you've still got the muscles of your core holding that leg, even though the foot is touching the ground. Now straighten the leg so it hovers off the ground a few inches. And continue to feel that the front bony hip points roll slightly towards your waist. Not that you're trying to flatten your lower back, but that you're trying not to let your lower back come into a big arch. Bend the right leg so your foot comes flat to the floor. Make a very gentle transition. The left foot starts to get lighter. And then without the pelvis moving, left leg lifts. Keep the left leg there. See if you're able to just keep little flickers of switching on the pelvic floor, because it's hard to do this and constantly keep the pelvic floor on. But just to keep thinking, okay, I'm going to do a little squeeze every now and little squeezes of the pelvic floor. Okay, so those two front bones of the pelvis, the two hip points, are rolling slightly toward the waist, and put the ball of your left foot so it touches the ground. The ball of your left foot touching the ground, but without any weight in the foot. And you should feel it's a little stronger. So we've got the thigh bone is away and the belly muscles are working a bit stronger. Now straighten the left leg so it's hovering a few inches off the ground, but the hip points haven't moved further away. Try and get the leg as straight as you're able to. If it puts pressure in your back, stick with the bent leg ball of the foot on the floor. 2 more breaths. Shoulders are still relaxed, jaw is relaxed. Okay, then bend in your left foot, foot flat to the floor. And let's do that with movement now. So lift the right leg into a single knee fold. We're going to tap the ball of the foot down and lift. Tap down and lift. When the thigh bone moves away, remember that's where you need to add in a little bit more strength, because it's slightly stronger, it's slightly more difficult to keep the pelvis in line and to keep your core switched on when the thigh bone is further away. 2 more. So when the thigh bone moves further away, you want to think stronger core. 1 more. Okay, you can keep with that, or from a bent position, straighten your leg so you're a few inches off the floor. Bend the leg back in so you're in a knee fold. Straighten away, a few inches off the floor. Bend back in. If this makes your back lift or you get any discomfort, then stay with the tapping of the ball of the foot to the floor. Notice if the shape of your spine changes when your leg moves. And again, roll the hip points toward the waist, firm your belly muscles, and keep the spine steady. Okay, bent leg position, pause there. We've got one last one with this leg. Take the ball of the foot to touch the ground, keep the ball of the foot touching the ground, and then extend the leg straight. Bend, ball of the foot taps the ground. Straight. Bend, ball of the foot taps the ground. Good, keep doing that with your right leg extending, bending, tapping the ground very lightly with the ball of your foot. So we're not actually letting the foot take any weight out of the leg. 3 more. Also good at keeping the knee joint loose. When your leg next bends in, you can place that foot gently flat to the floor. Without the pelvis moving, switch to the left foot and the left leg lifts. Left leg is in a single knee fold. Let's start from there. So with the left leg in a single knee fold, tap the ball of your foot to the floor and lift. Yeah, good. Keep going with that left leg. If you start to feel every now and then you build pressure in your arms and shoulders, or your jaw tightens or your neck tightens, make sure your arms are turned palms upwards, and that takes less pressure through your arms and softens your shoulders more. Good. And as I look around at you all, I can see you're doing a really, really good job of working in your core. There are no expanding bellies, no arching of the back. Pelvises are looking nice and steady. So we'll move on to the next stage from there. From the bent leg position, leg is lifted, push away a few inches off the ground, bend back in 90 degrees. Push away a few inches off the ground, bend back in. Nice, keep going like that. So we're just in that second range of movement where the leg bends in, it comes up 90 degrees and then pushes out. That's it. This is where, because we're moving the leg straighter, where we might start to tip the pelvis slightly over to the left. Make sure you've still got some weight in the back of the right side of the pelvis. Okay, next time your leg bends, keep it bent and take the ball of the foot to touch the ground. And now we extend the leg out, hover it off the floor, bend back in, ball of the foot touching the ground. Extend and hover, bend, ball of the foot touching the ground. So it's just a light touch of your foot coming back in. It doesn't matter if it's the ball of the foot or the heel of your foot or the sole of your foot, as long as you're just touching the ground like, I don't know, like it's, pardon? A feather, thank you. I don't know where I was going to go, so I'm glad you chipped in. Two more with this leg. When the leg bends in next, keep it bent in. And when you relax, you should feel the shape of your spine and your pelvis changes and there's a softness. Let your knees open into a butterfly. Let your arms open out wide, palms to the ceiling, and flutter the knees a little. So there's a little bit of an inner thigh release. And then your knees come in, straighten your legs out, keep your arms out wide to the side. And we're going to do a little rotation for the upper back. Again, it's a little bit like flossing for your shoulder blades. Lift your right arm up in the air. And as your right arm reaches across to your left arm, lift your head off the block and reach as far over as you can, keeping your right leg heavy. The right leg might lift a little, but keep it heavy, like your right buttock is trying to stay close to the ground. Then open your arm back out again, head rests back on your block. Left arm to the ceiling, then lift the left shoulder and your head and reach across towards your right hand. The left leg will lift a little, but be heavy in your left leg, like there's a string trying to draw your left buttock back to the ground. And then open back out again with your inhale. Exhale, go across and hold it for a couple of breaths there. Keep that reach, Louise. Keep that reach, but then get that heavier. That's it. Yeah, there you go. And then opening just at your own pace. As you reach across, you reach. And then it's like you've just not got control of your lower body. It moves a little, but just be almost, like you've had an epidural and you're just letting your legs they move, but you're not trying to move them or you're unable to move them. Let them just be heavy. Stay there, stay there. Yeah, drop more. That's it. Yeah, so you're releasing this here. Do you feel a bit of a difference? Yeah. Stay there, Trevor. Okay, go to the other side. That's fine. Okay, so reach across. Okay, keep reaching. Okay, stay there. Now drop this. Relax this. There you go. So there's a release. Keep relaxing all the way down that angle. Okay, do one more each side. So you're going to finish where your left arm comes across to your right. So that will be the last one, left arm over to right. When you have done your last left to right and you're back to center, don't rush it though. When you have done that last one, just stay there in this big capital T shape. Staying in your capital T. Bend your right knee. Bring it across towards your left hand and your left hand's going to catch hold of the knee. So your right hip comes on top of your left hip. Look over to your right arm. Turning your right ear toward the block. Your left hand is holding the knee. That's it. And you're looking out toward the right. Come back into center. You can put your foot flat on the floor to begin with because you might need to reset your bottom, and then straighten both legs. Then bend your left knee in, and then bring your left knee across to the right and catch it with your right hand. Look out to the left. So your left arm is in that capital T shape still. Yeah, remember to breathe. And then back into center. Both feet flat to the floor. We're going to come into one last shoulder bridge. So take the block out from underneath your head. Have your purple block handy. Press through your feet. Roll your hips up into a bridge. And then see if you can put your purple block underneath your pelvis. Some of you will be able to get it up on this high setting like that. But most of you will want it either on that middle setting, or you could stack both your blocks together, the middle setting with the other block on top. If you can get on that high setting, then do. Well, coming from India, you might be able to get up that high because you've probably done it before. But if not, the flat setting with your other block on top, and it gives you a little bit extra height. Have it so that it's on the solid bone of your sacrum. Lift a tiny bit higher. Right, now go down. Is that all right? It's not on a zip or anything. Now see if your shoulders and arms can go narrower so they come underneath you more. And your arms might even come all the way under and touch the block. Is that high enough for you, Carolyn? Is that high enough for you? Oh, no, you can get a lot higher. Yes, definitely. Okay, coming in. Right now, pause there. Come up onto the tippy toes a second. Okay, now go down on there. Yeah, does that feel all right? Yes. So really good. Yes, for me. Upper back extension. Yeah. So it's a good one for you. Such difference turning your breathing as well. Turning, yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely. We'll take 2 or 3 more breaths there. Okay, and then lift a tiny bit higher so you can take the block out and slowly come all the way back down. When you are all the way back down to the floor, if you need a block under your head, put one back under your head again. Bring your 2 knees in, one hand on each knee, and circle them open and closed. And then circle them the other way. And then you can rest with the knees together or with your legs straight and relax. And when you relax, make sure everything feels comfortable and make your adjustments if it doesn't feel comfortable. Let your arms fall freely, and if there are any blocks in the way, move them so that your arms can feel symmetrical and uninhibited. Let your tongue relax inside your mouth. That helps to relax your jaw. Let your eyeballs relax behind your eyelids. That helps to soften your forehead. On the next exhale, relax your ribs. That helps to relax your shoulders. Relax the palms of your hands so it spreads into your fingertips. Relax the bones so your skeleton feels heavy. And relax your buttocks so your legs fall freely. Breathe slow, deep breaths. Breathe in to your whole body, slow and deep. Breathe out from your whole body, long and restful. Breathing in, big, deep breath. Breathing out, relaxing. And again, one more. Then wriggle your fingers and your toes. Bring your feet in flat to the floor. Drop both knees to the right. Take both arms and drape them across to the left. Then both knees to the left and drape both arms to the right. Keep your arms to the right and bring your knees over to the right as well. Roll all the way onto your right side and use both hands to push your way up. Roll over on your bottom to come to sitting. Was that recovery enough for you? Yeah, okay. Good. Thank you very much, everyone. Well done.